Welcome to the Mergers and Acquisition Show, where we talk about buying businesses, consolidating businesses, exiting businesses, scaling businesses. And today we have a very special treat because we have the legendary Eric Green. And when it comes down to accounting and training accountants to grow and scale their businesses and hopefully one day exit, he is probably the go-to man. Probably been to every single accounting conferences and spoken there in the United States. And we know because we own accounting firms and we're doing roll-ups right now. And a lot of people want to know about the accounting world. What's right? What's wrong? What's going on? Why do they hate their job so much? Why are they just willing to walk away and sell at three, four times EBITDA multiple rather than sticking around a little bit so they can exit at 8 to 10 times multiple, depending on the thing. So
Who do you
because
know? Who do
that
you
has
know
got
who
in there.
gets?
Welcome
Oh,
to the show.
yeah. Thank you. No, so listen, they're not entrepreneurial, and so there is a huge opportunity, right? Because first of all, they have a relationship. Accountants. By the way, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, I know. It's like we're
We've been
friends
talking
already.
about
So
this.
just so you know, we literally met 2 minutes ago, and here's how we bonded. He has bobbleheads. I have bobbleheads.
You got to
I
have a.
also, when I'm at war, Business is War, my book, I have bobbleheads. Dennis, do you have your
I
bobblehead?
I only have my own bobblehead.
So I also have I'm on a roll here. It's creepy, but this one for some reason my head is broken and my feet are broken, but I got my own fuku. So now these are all gifts. I don't go out there and buy things of
Mhm,
myself. They're
mhm,
gifts.
mhm.
I had a Zoom with a tax court judge who starts in, okay, we're covering, and then there's silence, and she literally said, "How do I get a bobblehead?" I was like,
Could
and
be a
I
new
just
business.
Yeah.
Could be a new business. You know what I was thinking? Here's an idea. Like, listen, we're talking about mergers and acquisition, but I'm always thinking when you have over 84 companies, you're always thinking, I have my down in my basement. I have when I just kind of come down, I literally have every goat I've met from Gretzky to Messi and all that. There's sign and pictures of all that, right? So I like to have the goat section. And then I go in and in my movie room, I have Pacino, Stallone, Schwarzenegger. And then I have cool things signed by Michael Dell, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Tom Cruise. I met like all of these people. And I wanted to basically create um, like a sort of row of like head statues of like people like Michael Dell or Jeff Bezos. And I know there are a lot of Charlie Munger, but just so that the entrepreneur inspiration out there on your desk. The only problem is you take a look at, how much money you're going to make, what do you got to do. It's not a best use of my time, but it's an idea that I have. So if you're out there, you want to do that business, I will be your first customer for free. And you can send it all to me as well, get it out there as well.
but
So
but here's the thing that's fascinating. My walls are covered with quotes.
oh,
I am a big quote person. Of course, we have the
thank God you're
cigar
clean. You should see my office.
bar, but my cigar whiskey
What's your
bar.
favorite what's your favorite quote and how has it defined you?
Um, Honestly, it is by Ulysses S. Grant. When he took over after the Battle of Gettysburg, a reporter, Wing, I think was the last name, was going to head back to Washington. And so Grant says to him, "You're going to go see the president?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "If you get there and tell him from me that whatever happens, there will be no turning back." And to me, that is the sort of tenacity and the grit. I got to be honest with you. We built a $5 million law firm. I have a multi-million dollar training program. I have a publishing company. We're rolling out a SaaS product. I can assure you, I mean, Dennis has met me. He can tell you privately, I'm as average gets. I didn't go to a big name Ivy League. I didn't work at Goldman Sachs. I didn't. If you have the basic brains, what it comes down to, and this is not my quote, Tom Bilyeu, who's got impact theory, this is his quote, but it's so spot on. The only two questions you need to answer: where do you want to go, and what price are you willing to pay? I
I
don't
don't
care
think
if you
I
went to
don't
an
think you
Ivy
made I don't
League.
think you made that up. I don't think you made that up. I mean, I've heard that before. Interestingly enough, I did meet at my event. We had a major event a week and a half ago, and we attracted 78 different countries, 1,400 people. We had count like 17 billionaires, John Paul DeJoria, name a few, Chris Jenner, the Kardashians, Charlie Sheen, David Grutman, the King of Miami. David Grutman, just a great guy. And then I happened to meet the guy who sold the company for Quest for $1 billion. And I'm like, well, what's the story? Man, it's whatever people say the story is. It's like when someone says to me, I own like 5,000 units, multi units. Okay. And then you break it down and he owns 1% of 1%. Like the story is never like what it is, unfortunately. And so I was one of the, I'll share with you privately what the story I was given. And let's just say that some people may have got thrown out of the company, but it was very similar to Ty Lopez. If you remember, I called it the showing the Lamborghinis and the stuff. And then he ended up sued by the SEC for running a Ponzi scheme, and it's still ongoing. But
Listen, I'm going to be honest. Most of the billionaires who really built, you don't know who they are. They're not going to do a podcast. There's that guy who's got I see the clips. He's got the School of Hard Knocks where he's randomly finding people on the street, which is bullshit.
yeah, no, that's
Randomly Mike runs into Michael Francis, the former Colombo.
of course.
Well, please.
No,
Anyway,
or also too, like I think they said, something McIntyre or Macklemore. They're like, he's a billionaire. I own 3,000 units. No, you're not a billionaire. Everybody's a billionaire online. The interesting is there's 2,800 billionaires. And by the way, it's funny on topic. I just wrote this. It came out a week and a half ago, so I was number one. It's called Billionaire versus Millionaire Thinking. So I got four billionaires spent 8 hours. None of them are really public. None of them have a book. Very rarely, none of them really do podcasts. If they do, like it's to give back or a favor for somebody as well. And I could tell you this after you read this. I'd send it to you, but this is the only copy I have.
yeah,
But the premise was this: is millionaires complicate things, and billionaires simplify things. And after spending 8 hours with the billionaires, I did not say, "Oh my God," it was just mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling for one thing. I wrote this in a day and a half, and I had 103 fever. And after I wrote this, because it was like whatever concept, billionaires say this, millionaires say that, is that and I think this is the case in the accounting space, which is why they trade time for money.
yeah,
Mhm.
And he said, even though I'm a high nine-figure guy, he goes, you're a dentist. You're in the personal exertion business.
yeah,
Meaning, if you don't do it, yeah, you can have your team, but you could never just walk away because it will all come down and falling.
right.
And it comes down to
Yep,
the risk of, you know what, I can hire someone for 75 or someone, let's say for 200. The 200 is phenomenal. It's going to do probably everything. It should free up my time so I can do bigger things. But we'll go with the 75 because mentally, and I'm just giving an example, you're thinking, oh, if I make $300,000, now I'm only making 175 because 125, you're not valuing what else you're doing with your time, which is
right,
makes you a dentist.
right. No, that is the problem. In fact, my former senior partner, who Jeff and I ultimately split with, did not understand that concept. And so for him, everything was price, to the point of his own detriment.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Like you said, 3 to 4 times. If you could get 3 to 4 times, I got to count. We have 400,000 in our email list. They'll sell to you in 10 cents. Here's what I see. If you're an accountant and you're doing the work, you might get point 0.8,
Right.
maybe one times EBITDA. You know why? No one wants your fucking job. All
Absolutely.
right. Um, but and because this has been the drum we've been banging on, which is why I wanted to talk to Dennis and all of that, is we've been telling them you can automate all the engagement letters, get paid up front. You can automate the whole process of prepping the returns. It's got to be reviewed, sure. You can scale. You can outsource bookkeeping and scale. If they are business oriented, I know some private investors, they'll pay 3 to 4 times revenue because now you have a business. It could be run anywhere from a laptop, and I can take you out and put Eric Green in. I could put Dennis in, and it doesn't matter. The machine rolls on. If you're sick for one day and the whole thing comes to an end, no one wants that. That's bullshit. And
And also part of it too is people are afraid, like my client's my thing. I mean, isn't that part of the problem in the accounting industry right now? And we have people all over the world. We do a lot of stuff in Australia as well. It's that you kind of come in and let's say you find a great person, right? And maybe you're paying them 110, 125, which for you, and a small person, it's a lot of money. Because A, they're probably not tracking the numbers. Is this person really earning their worth? Billable hours, right? It's just like I pay salary at the end of the year, I'm stuck with a profit. And then a bigger firm comes in and say, we'll give you 175. And you can't compete with that extra 50. So you're in fact training your competition for either bigger accounting firms or one of the big fives to come steal you because it's not like accounts fall off on trees. It's an aging population. It's not a sexy thing to get into. But the interesting is, if I go to people and I ask them, "Are you happy with your accountant?" I get two answers. The answer is I get no, but I've been with them so long, so there's a pain of disconnect and switching to somebody else. Or number two, I don't know if he does a good job
Yeah.
because people have never got a second opinion, and that's why it's been very easy for us. And if people actually spend time like going meeting people and networking and building relationships with people, or going to business conferences and meet people like, oh my God, my account sucks. My account sucks. Like, so you're the expert in the topic.
Right.
What is wrong with the industry right now?
Because
And why is it
we
still a great opportunity?
it's generational. The generation that is there views this as their job, their art form, and what they don't do is they don't build it with the idea of it being, it's an asset and it's to sell. So,
Mhm.
because if you did, think about this. Now, I want to put the pieces in place. I'm going to outsource whatever I can outsource. I'm going to automate everything I can automate. My job now as business owner isn't to sit and do fucking tax returns or bookkeeping or whatever the fuck it is they're doing. Excuse my French. It is go get more clients. I would be digital marketing. I think that if someone's listening to this, I got a buddy of mine who does the Success Tax podcast with me, Tony Carter. Tony's got no accounting background. He's just an entrepreneur. But I told him, I said, if you want with our list, we could build a $10 million accounting firm. We could roll it up, whatever, because he's an operations guy. He understands operations. Um, to me, if for the accountant, so the interest in this, it's very sticky. People don't want to leave their accountant. I've made my decision. I got 10,000 other things to fucking deal with. I don't want to sit there shopping for an accountant, moving my stuff. They're going to have 8,000 questions for me. I don't have time for this. I'm busy. So most people who go with an accountant stay with the accountant. So one, it's very sticky. Now, if you could provide value, so the person says, oh yeah, my accountant, a couple times a year, I get reports. We do year-end planning. He saved me a ton of money, or they've helped me make more scale or become more profitable. But the accountants can't get out of their own way because if they're doing the work, it's just more hours. And you and I both know that that's death. You can't. I can't sit and just do more hours without burning out. If they can set it up or transition to creating a business from it that is leverageable, tech driven, scalable, they now, one, have a huge asset. Two, they're going to get their life back. And three, they should be doing what a business owner does, which is work on the business, not in it. And so when someone like yourself, JT, you call me up and say, Eric, do we have something to sell? I have something you don't want to touch. And I get others that say, you should sit with these guys or this gal. She's got something to sell. And it makes sense in a roll up. And that's the thing. So it's a great opportunity. A lot of the people that are trudging around in it right now don't understand that, and they're not going to. And if you talk to them about it, with Ignition, it'll probably cost $250 a month, but you can automate your engagement letters and get paid up front. I have somebody who told me they made 3,000 more of interest because they got all their money in January. By April, they had put it in a money market. It paid for the software, and everything got signed and paid. No more sending bills and during the summer hoping you get paid after you've done the return, because that's a good business model. Not, you know, they. But here's the thing. Oh, it's $250 a month. Well, that's like a car payment. What are you talking about? So it's the mindset. It's mindset, and we can talk to her blue in the face. Some get it, some don't. But if you're entrepreneurial, it's a great space. I think so.
Well, let's go over the point. So obviously, Dennis, welcome to the show. You've been such a valuable asset so far, and your insights are very interesting, and we'll take it under advisement. Um, but we're currently one of the reasons we're doing an accounting roll-up is number one, the population is aging out, and I think the world is divided, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, to like super small players and very big players. And I think it's an industry that there could be a solid $100 million a year business in the
Yep.
middle, if done correctly.
Yep.
And I think I've never gone inside my accountant's office ever. I don't think I've ever been inside an accounting office, right? And
Well,
so right? So everything could be done remotely there. And in my case, because I'm such a good marketer and brander and sales and stuff like that, it's just like, hey, are you unhappy? Blah, blah, blah. We'll do this to this. Or, like there's a lot of different strategies that we would do. And and I also think private equity loves it because it's recurring, it's sticky, and it's got low
yeah.
capex. So Dennis, I'm asking you, you're the expert on this. So why is it private equity likes accounting firms? But on the other side, before you answer this, Eric is a left brainer with some right brain streaks. Sometimes you're dealing with very extreme left brainers that just, so you got to have the right temperament, have the right temperament to discuss this, like, because you have to be able to, because there's also that fear
Right.
factor, like my clients, my people, this is like my family. So why is private equity liking this so much?
Well, it's highly fragmented market, and you have this complete disparity. You have very large companies or very small companies, and there's nothing in the middle. So multiples go crazy. And not only the private equity, you also have the financial planning firms that want accounting firms. Like everyone wants accounting firms. Accounting is the way to access business owners. When you have access to business owners, you can upsell all types of different services. You can upsell the estate services, the attorney services, financial planning services. Like you are at the at the base of where all the business come from. Everybody wants accounting firms, and what's happening is these accounting firms they either work on, hey, I'm busy, it's April, I'm busy, it's October. I'm not available in the rest of the year. And like this is not a business that you can structure. Like you have to structure an advisory work. You can't be filing taxes. I mean, we're doing a roll up. I've spoken with dozens of accounting firms. You either have people who understand it and they provide service on a quarterly or monthly basis and create this recurring revenue model, or you have the ones who are overwhelmed during the tax season, and that's really where they make all the money, which is really horrible way to do business. I think that's going to be the first accounting firm
Spot
that will
on.
be replaced.
So, Eric, what's
Spot
going
on.
on in the business itself, right? What are they doing wrong? What are the accountants doing wrong so that people like us come in and find all the business inefficiencies? I know you said earlier on they're not entrepreneurs, but if you go in, it's not the symptoms of the business, it's the root cause, right? And so the this, people could blame I'm busy, it's hard to find people, they have all these excuses, but ultimately, what's the root cause of these accounting firms that, where they could have grown and just have not?
The owner, because the owner only has so much time. And the owner, for better or worse, and lawyers fall into this too, by the way,
Yeah.
they I'm sure you've read the E-Myth and the E-Myth Revisited and the E-Myth Master and the E-Myth blah, 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 blah. There's like 18,000 versions of it, but the message is still the same. If the only person who can bake the cake and do it perfectly is you can't scale that.
Done
You
is better than
can't.
perfect. Put that on your wall. Put that on your wall.
Yep. So the point is, if the owner is willing to allow systems to take over, and I have to tell you, I have had accountants tell me after we do one of these automation webinars, basically say, I find what you're saying offensive because what you're doing is you're turning me into a retail product.
Right.
That is someone who does not get it, and they're just not gonna. Um,
There's also a lot of people saying that AI is gonna remove a lot of the accountants of the market. What are your thoughts on how AI is gonna
so here's the
revolutionize
thing:
the accounting
AI is a
firm?
great tool. All right. So I have met somebody out in Silicon Valley who's behind one of the big companies through a friend, and he basically said AI will never replace a human. It just won't. And I said, "Oh, so we're not going to have the Matrix?" He said, "Point of order. The Matrix collapsed in the movie because it can't do what humans do." So the bottom line is this. AI is going to completely change the landscape by giving people the ability to do massive amounts of data input, all of that at light speed in a fraction of the time and cost. So again, so let me tell you a story. So when Intuit, who has QuickBooks Pro advisors, and for years they've been banging that drum. When they rolled out automated bookkeeping, people lost their shit over it. And so I had Joe Woodard on. Joe runs Scaling New Heights. It's the biggest accounting tech conference in the country. If you've never been, it's in June. You should come down. We're there. It's fascinating just to walk the exhibit floor, to see the companies that are in the space. But he and I were talking about this, and we concluded, or we both had the same opinion. If you're somebody who does the bookkeeping, yeah, they're coming after your job. But if you're a business owner, this is the greatest opportunity ever. I don't need to hire more bookkeepers, and I can scale and go get more clients, right? So it's
But
literally a
what
mindset.
about, I agree with you. Everything you say sounds good in principle. The question is, sometimes you free up people's time and they don't know how to go get clients. It's outside their comfort level. Maybe they're good and maybe they don't have the energy. And there's always a fear of like, what am I going to do? So a
Hire
lot of it
you.
has to do with
Yeah.
you're still dealing with the fact of, we talked about your favorite quote. My favorite quote is when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. And there's just some people who have it, some people don't. Like you and I could just meet, like 9 minutes ago, and the show's been 28 minutes. And already we could do this, implement fast, get on Zoom, do this, get over as well, and then implement it in a week and a half, already start doing things where most people, that's not the case. So you have these people, and I don't know where it doesn't come. I think it's a fire. There's fear, fire, and permafrost. I think people sometimes they're like, I look at business this way. I see the opportunity. For example, right? I'm with you. This is our opportunity, right? And this is the amount of risk, right?
Mm.
The risk is you betray me, screw me over, something happens, you try to copy me, right? Minimally, right? That's how I take a look at it. But a lot of people see this is the risk and this is the opportunity. And they never make it because the opportunity is always so smaller than the risk. And so, and especially for left brainers in the accounting world, we're very kind of left brainer. Sales is not, or marketing or branding is not their skill set. Their skill set is being analytical, look at the numbers. I mean, you don't really want a right brain accountant or pilot for that matter of fact. You want someone check, check, check. A right brain be like, check,
Yep.
check, let's go. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll forget to, if they got multiple pens inside here and they're very kind of dressed to the T, like more like all they're ready to go. And so that's a different personality, and you want that personality, but it's also a detriment to the business why they haven't scaled. And they've built loyalty, and also too because some of them don't have emotional intelligence. Very similar to doctors, where as an entrepreneur, we're very, not all of them, but we're like, what I mean? There's not, hey, what's going on? Or I did this research, and this possible tax cut could be good. Are you doing that way? It just call me when to file a return. And then people complain about that because I think the accounts are being reactive rather than proactive. I don't think they've ever sat down with a customer and say, "What would you like from me?" Like,
And marketing is a dirty word.
Mhm.
well,
I've
sales is more of a dirty word than marketing.
Right. But the point is, you can go hire somebody, do $500 a month Google ad spend and retargeting, right? Which is a very small budget. Every business needs bookkeeping. Everybody has to do a return. All right. And then my advice is you start rolling out a campaign. Anyone new, if you're too afraid to talk to your existing clients about subscription pricing, do it for every new client that comes in. We work on a subscription model. Here it is per month. Bookkeeping, return, year-end planning. I'm already providing more value than your other person ever would have. And you just start rolling them up. And if you have the right automations in place, it is very, very scalable.
Don't you think if attorneys are the same thing? I've always had this idea. I hate getting bills from attorneys. Like 0.15, I thought about you, or I read an email. I wrote a $5,000 wrote an email for an hour. Guess what, buddy? I've got the most advanced business AI in the world, and I did the letter in 30 seconds. It's amazing. We're dealing with all these attorneys for a merger and acquisition deal. And it was all wrong because I'm doing it differently. I did what nobody did. And I literally went into my AI, created, went back and forth, went to their contract, and they literally said, who's working on this? Like, yeah, my in-house attorney. Can we talk to him? No, it's kind of busy, but if you have any questions, I'll forward it over to them. And they're like, yeah, we'd like to use them for other things. And then in front of my conference, I let them know it was my AI. And she
Sure.
goes, wow. Because I said to her, what do you think about the contract? She goes, it's one of the best contracts ever. And you know what? It literally took me probably all in 10 minutes by the time back and forth. Because what I did is I said this. Tell me, this is how I don't want to get screwed. Make sure it's all of that, right? And make sure, like, it's also part of knowing what to put in. But what I would have got a bill for $15,000, probably
Yeah.
$25,000, $50,000 for a damn thing. And
Yeah.
if the lawyers just said, if I went to a lawyer and say, hey, listen, it's going to cost you approximately 50,000 for this case, right? Because there's a lot of things the lawyers are doing that they should not do, right? They could easily delegate out. They do it to justify the hours. At least that's how I figure. So I was
They
saying,
can do is all they can do is sell their time.
correct.
And
And
the
so if
problem
you
is
actually said
they're
that, I
like
have
experiments.
expectations rather than driving up the bill. And at the end of the day, I don't care if it's a and then three lawyers to review an agreement. Now I can put it to AI and I can get an opinion and then the summary. And it just it's like the model is, and because of a lobbying probably interest, and they've been doing it for 100 years.
Yep.
And they use a lot of templates. Like they use, hey, here's the purchase agreement for 75 pages that I just wrote from zero. He did not. It was you used the template to come up with it. So there's a lot of that as well.
No, and again, most of them are terrible business people. If you go to one of these mega firms and they have 2,000 attorneys, I can tell you right now, you probably have 100 rainmakers. The rest are all service.
Yeah, probably right.
So here, well, no, so here's where you're going. If you're a rainmaker, what do you need all them for? With AI now and everything else, as long as I can bring in the clients, I can get tools to do the work. What do I need the
And
paralegal?
then
What
you
do
have a human double check the tools. And then by the way, the cool thing about my AI is not only do I have it, but I created a second opinion thing. So whatever you come up with, you always put in the second opinion because AI could also agree with you. You can make it agree with you and tell your idea is great or whatever you're doing. And then I came up with before you put your idea, get the honest truth on whether it's real or not. And that's why we're dominating right now because I,
so
I I just thought of all the things I and the problem now is people put anything in AI, by the way, including attorneys, by the way, who have put into
Mhm,
ChatGPT, went to court,
mhm,
and they're like,
mhm.
it just made up cases, right? And then they got caught. But then on the other hand, you have Harvey.ai that's not worth $5 billion because and really the value is the knowledge base that you have, just like your value is your knowledge base. But
Well, the
you know,
value, so the value, there's a company I deal with, Ask Blue Jay. They have all the tax databases and what is effectively like a ChatGPT AI thing on top. What makes it great is you now have a set universe of high quality content it works from versus chat that just goes out and finds anything on the internet and makes up
Yeah.
cases and hallucinates or whatever the hell it is.
So,
The point, so that to me is where this is going. Law and accounting and tax are ripe for disruption. These industries are going to change drastically. And like Alexis, that has a great database with an AI on top of it, becomes incredibly powerful. So the paralegals, the service partners, I think those positions are going to go away. It's going to be rainmakers, and I need someone physically to get packages out the door. And you know what? Wouldn't be bad to have another lawyer just eyeball things, maybe. But if you have the two different AIs that can check each other, and plus, I assume the attorney's going to read it at the end anyway, so they should be doing a check. These pyramid um, business models, right? The rainmakers at the top, the service partners, all the staff, and then you got the admin, at the base with 8 floors in Manhattan and all that shit. That's all going to go away. You're going to be able to
and, and, and
rainmakers.
those and those accounting firms that are set up as partnership are now in trouble. They can't really exit because you got six partners. They all own partial percentage of the company. They all need to agree on the sale, and then they can't never going to get compensated the same way. They'll hit the same problem as attorneys. Attorneys are
Yeah,
going to be in trouble as well.
the very big firms will be fine. They've automated all of this stuff anyway.
Right.
And for them, because I can tell you right now, because my son is going through this now with the interviewing, they don't even care what you major in. You don't have to be an accounting major. They are looking for young, smart people that they can turn into high-priced consultants. Again, AI won't get rid of that. The days of armies of accountants doing stuff are over. They've automated all of that away. Not going to happen. The small guy, if they don't change, they'll have a job for the next 10 years, probably because their clients are going to stay with them, but they're never going to make money and they're not going to have anything to sell. So what you're looking at is, in my world, these 1 to 10 person firms, do they recognize an opportunity and are they entrepreneurial enough to put the pieces in place so that someone like, JT and Dennis come in and be like, you've got something to sell. We'll give you 3x because we can grow this and sell it at 10x 3 to 5 years from now, right? In a roll up. And so I think the accounting profession, meaning anything outside of the big firms, is like the guy on the skis and they're going in like this. They're going to have to make a decision one way or the other. And unfortunately, most of them don't have, they're too afraid. They don't like change. It's their art. I've been told this. It's my art form. Fuck you and your art form. All right. It's a return. Excuse my French again. But I don't know.
By the
Am
way,
I
je
supposed to
parle très bien
swear?
français, and French doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I'm supposed to
I'm not
swear.
editing anything, man. I just click,
Yeah.
go, send it to my team. I run too many companies to edit stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
No. So
interestingly enough, though, there is now AI that you can upload these clips and then any possible things that would be a violation of, let's say, terms of service on YouTube or stuff like that, it would just cross it off. Where before it would take so long. Like I could literally,
you
like
needed
for
an
example,
editing team.
like watch this. Like this is the craziness, and regular I won't do this, but so I'll put this way here. All right, activate JT1. I'd like you to send an email. I just got off the podcast with Eric Green, who is one of the top accountants trainer. He's got a huge database. And if we could create our own sort of submergers and acquisitions company, because he's got literally so many clients and then include him as a partner and do that, can you send me a proposal exactly like we have done in the past in other industry, but just put in a way that's short, sweet, to the point. He doesn't like BS, and then maybe throw in a FU a fuck you at PS because he seems to like that word, which is his French. Right? So, wait, three, two, one, and we are ready. So, here we go. Subject: a simple partnership that prints money. Eric, I had a great time having you on my podcast. You built one of the most powerful accounting communities I've ever seen. You have the trust, you have the audience, you have the volume. Here's the idea. You and I create a mergers and acquisitions company built specifically for accounts and tax pros, a real M&A firm that gives value to your people and something that your accounts could also afford to their clients if they wanted to exit because we do have those infrastructures. You bring your database, your credibility. I'll bring the model, the private equity, the funding, and the M7A framework, scaling playbook, and the ability to close deals fast. We keep it simple. We target clients who need to buy, sell, merge, scale, exits. We solve their biggest problem. We take equity into the deal. We build portfolio worth money, and then we exit. We get it to 10 to 15 million and walk away with 175 million. You get a piece of the profit. I get a piece of the profits. You keep your brand. You stay the expert, and you may pick up some more clients in our infrastructure ecosystem as we have a lot of clients. If this makes sense, let's get on the call ASAP, get this blueprint. P.S. I consider this my polite fuck you, US, for my French. Like, you see what I mean? Like, just in a normal world, just writing that email is a 30 to 45 minutes, just in a normal world, right? For you to get it right in the partnership. Now, obviously, I could polish it up and do this, but here's the point. Because it was my AI, it knew about M&A, it knew about playbook, and knew how to regular AI, if we just typed in the same question, it wouldn't have had it. That's the thing about that. Just like your specialty, your clients can go to regular AI. And the thing about regular AI, it scrapes off the internet and they think they're going to get the answer. They copy and paste. And we know if the answer is correct or not, but they don't because they assume whatever comes out of the AI is correct. And if everyone is using the same AI, there's no differentiation. And I think that's the biggest weakness. And that's why the private LLM market is going to be a very big thing for exits too. And the accounting world, their knowledge base into there make a difference. And also having their people tracking their work. What are they putting in there? And then creating private AIs where, let's say you have a customer file, Eric. So you're working on a JT Fox, right? And you have a folder. So as an accountant, right? Let's say you're my accountant. You have a folder that says JT Fox that has all my returns, all my things that's private, not publicly available. So then when you go back to there, that AI already knows me because it's in there and you can jump from one to another. Oh, thank you. That's what we're creating. But so now it also can give suggestions. And so rather than just trying to go to one central, because everybody's different, I've got a very higher net worth than some other people, some higher, some less. And the AI that the accounts have starts to know me. And then the more you know about your client, you put it in there. And so now it's saying, hey, you should, this is the type of person, this is what you do, or this would be a good idea. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the future and the future of Big Exit. We got to talk business. So we're just going to end the show, or else or we're just going to do it live for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Let everybody to see. That could be the next show, which I've done before, but there's too many to talk about. So I'm going to give you a final word, Eric. Obviously, did they learn about mergers and acquisitions? Let me tell you what's more important than mergers and acquisitions. It's the relationships you build with people. You could sit there and think what you saw here is the building of a relationship that leads to other things, all because Dennis reached out, brought on the show, talk mergers and acquisition. So while you're thinking about the how, you're forgetting the why. That's what makes successful mergers and acquisitions, getting to people, find out what's important to them, building a relationship, adding value to them first, finding out what's most important to them, and building that relationship. And also having JT Fox quotes on your wall, not other people. Success is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. And if you don't have your own bobbleheads, you just haven't made it yet.
Well,
Go ahead. Last word, Eric. And where can people find you on your podcast and all that wonderful stuff?
So it's Tax Rep Network is the podcast. Tax Rep LLC is the training program. I'm pretty easy to find. Eric Green Tax, and I come up.
Yeah, and you got to put tax. If you put Eric Green, I don't know if you pop
You
up.
might get the Steelers tight end. I think
You
he's a
might get
Hall
all
of Fame
kinds of
man.
things too. But once we're done business, they will know who Eric Greener is. We gotta say Greener now, just so you're Googleable as well. Dennis, do you want to say something? Your insights were very, very deep on there. You got one ball that came to you. You hit it hard. Eric really agreed with your point. So take it home with the final word.
listen, I think there's just enormous opportunity for exit, and unfortunately, 90% of these accounting firms, they're gonna close doors. They're gonna something happens with them, the health goes out the window, and they're unfortunately gonna close doors. And unless you take action and you actually do something about your structure, you're gonna lose out on the biggest exit of your lifetime. And unfortunately, that's what's happening with the majority of the company. So, few people that watch the podcast and able to do some action plans and make an exit out of it. I mean, that's job well done.
Well, first of all, this is going to be on Apple and Spotify. So if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, please subscribe, please share it, please like it. And if you know of another account down there and you want them to work with us in AI or learn how to scale their business or grow, you got to connect them with Eric or connect them with us. And that's all about. And then you know what? We'll get you in on it. So that's the thing about me. Just, people say, why is Dennis here? I ask myself every time I do this show, to be honest with you, why is he here? Okay. He
I
stands
asked
up the
myself that
entire
question
time.
too,
Does he even
Alexander.
have a chair? Do you have a chair?
I
It's like,
do.
and by the way, I'm not even wearing pants. Look at my pants. Look at my pants, man. I mean, I'm not going to stand up because you're going to see that I'm wearing pants. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? And then I got all my Tom Brady, Phil Jackson, Michael Dell people, you know what I mean? So I'm there. You're standing up all the time and you're head bopping. What is going on? Is there a chair and is it a high?
I gotta share. I try not to use it a lot.
Okay. All right. So I'm
Maybe he's
glad
smarter
you,
than we are.
yeah, well, at least he's wearing pants.
Yeah,
So that's good. Jersey
we
Zoom.
think.
Well, keep it a mystery.
No, but it was a Zoom world where their pants became completely optional. But also too, you do us a favor, like, comment. It doesn't cost any money to like, comment, subscribe. It really doesn't, and it helps out a lot, and that's a way of adding value. But the reason why he's here, just to everybody, if it wasn't for Dennis, I wouldn't be talking to Eric, which means that if you bring us a deal, an accounting firm, a client, a roll up, or you want to learn how to do it, the links are all in the comment. But I'll get you in. I'll give you a piece. I'll put you into partnership. I have no problem with that as well. And please make sure you pick up. Do you have a book, Eric? You have a book?
I have 8 of them.
Yeah,
But
I know.
the
You gotta pick up all my best-selling books on Amazon. Business is War. And people are like, when is the audio coming out? I hear that all day. I'm like, there's one on the first two, but the third one not yet. And they're
yeah.
like, what is it coming out? And I'm like, why? I prefer audio. I said, what's your financial situation? They're like, well, I'm struggling right now. Then read the goddamn book. So the way you're doing it, like, so you're gonna wait to get information so it's convenient for you because you don't like. Guess what? There's a lot of things that we all do we don't like doing, but we do because it needs to be done. Final quote for you, Eric. One of your quotes, not some other person's quote or someone else who stole somebody else's quote and pretended to be theirs. What is your quote as a final that you say?
I think there's a tremendous opportunity in the accounting market if only they would recognize it and seize it.
No, only if they hired you. Come on, we got to bring that home there. So, but here's the thing too, there is no such thing as a self-made man or woman. And what you saw here is a clinic on building relationships that leads to partnership because you could sit there and make offers with an account, but if you can get in and build that relational capital with people, add value or get other people to introduce you, that's how you build relationships. So thank you so much. And you can listen to all our past shows. Interestingly enough, every person we've had on this show, except for one, we do business with. It's so funny to think about that there as well, or have a relationship, which is what the case is. Relational capital is more important than financial capital. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Eric. And just remember, JT and Eric Green bobbleheads are coming soon near you. We will be selling them. We are trying to see if we can get them sent over to Canada, smuggle them over the border so we can avoid the 35% tariffs. But that's for another week on another show. Thank you so much for being on the Mergers and Acquisition show. Even though we didn't really talk about it, but it just goes to show you don't need to know about mergers and acquisition. You just need to convince people to sell to you. That is the secret sauce. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Eric.